the Browns neighborhood. We got my brother Eric from the church. I have to mention that because that's where I first met Eric many, many years ago. Little bitty young boy, but I want to ask him some questions and get to know a little bit more about his life because it's been a pretty good journey for him. So I need to find out. Eric, how you feeling tonight?
I'm doing great, Brother Brown. Thank you for having me today.
Man, it's a privilege to have you because, boy, I done seen some great things that have been going on now. So I really want to know. And I have a question. When I met you and you was in church, you was a little bitty boy, I want to know, how old were you? We had a choir stand, and Eric went up in this choir stand, and it had to be at least about 5 years old. Do you even know how old you were when you went up there?
I was going to say about 5, yeah.
About 5?
Yeah, 5.
Do you remember going up there? The guitar wasn't even real, but you took it up there like it was real. So my thing is, what made you want to go up there?
Well, like you said, like you mentioned, we met in the church, so a lot of good music starts off, and a lot of good musicians start off in the church, and I was blessed to be able to have a great foundation to be able to see high-level music at an early age. So the reason for that being is that there was a brother, Eric Watson, my bass teacher, my mentor, Stanley Matthews, a huge reason of why I was able to go up there, and also Brother Marlon. So seeing them and Brother Bobo and just seeing all that every Sunday, week in, week out, high intensity music and still praise and worship, but still conviction and moving the audience and seeing that firsthand, that's what inspired me to want to go up there and just want to be a part of it.
Being so young like that, and even when old people go up there and they see this crowd of people looking, did you even get nervous, scared? I mean, you 5.
Yes and no. So the first half of that is, like you said, the guitar wasn't plugged up. It wasn't that it wasn't real. It just wasn't. There was no amplifier for me to be heard. So I was still able to participate in service and still feel as if someone had a tambourine or someone else had their own instrument. I just had a guitar. So that was the first half of it. The second half is I really wasn't thinking about that. I was so immersed in the music. I was just wanting to get my shot before I could get up there. The getting the shot is when you get to see everybody and you start to understand, oh, wow, there's a lot of people out there. But before that, I'm just being able to worship and praise in my own, and they're allowing me to be at that young age, at 5, with the guitar, you know? So.
And that's amazing. People got to understand, this is a 5-year-old kid, and I'm sitting back checking it out. See, one thing I want him to know is somebody's always watching. And even though you was that young, somebody was watching you. And you had a dream. When I say don't despise small beginnings, this was something small. Nobody ever thought you would grow up and be playing like you playing today. So my question, how did you know you wanted to play that particular instrument?
Okay.
Why did you choose that one?
The reason I would say why I chose, let's say, guitar, and before I could even choose between guitar and bass, it was just guitar, string instrument. It really was just, I was watching Brother Stan, man. I gravitated to, the drums were cool, you know, I was able to see the piano and everything, but just that natural gravitation came to, I want to do what he's doing, or be able to make people feel what that bass could give, you know? So yeah. That was the reason, but it was the first of many instruments because I may only play bass at church, but I was never really, what is the word? No one really turned me away from any instrument or tried to turn me off from anything. It wasn't necessarily all encouragement either, but I never let anyone really stop me besides myself if I really could. But if I wanted to learn the instrument and play it, I still do that to this day. Like, people, they ask how many instruments I play. I really don't know. I can name a bunch of them, but...
Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, give me 5 of them.
5 of them, yeah. So we got bass, we got my saxophone, we also have drums. Drums came just naturally, but there's so many different types of drums. So if you think of drum set, I can play drum set. There's also djembe, which is the African drum, the circular, you know, drum that the West Africans play. I can also play djembe. And then there's also the dunes. So the dunes are kind of like, I was like quads and marching band, but just for the West African, for that ensemble.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I want people to know this all started as a little bitty young man. Average kid, 5-year-olds, he want to stay next to his mother. This young man was walking up there like he knew he was ready. I mean, it blew my mind. So now I'm wondering, now as you getting older, 8, 9, what kept that drive to keep wanting to know music better than you was learning? Did you take lessons when you was 8, 9, 10, or was it just something you did naturally?
So I did inquire about lessons. My mother and my father both. Well, before we start there, the reason why I had that fake guitar, the fake guitar or the unelectric guitar, it was my grandmother and my grandfather, Uncle Bigum.
Is that right?
Yes, Uncle Bigum and Auntie Betty. Auntie Betty was the one who bought me that guitar.
Wow.
I was being watched. They raised me over at Uncle Bigum's house, the Walkers. She was the first one really to ever, they bought that guitar for me and put it in my hand and told my parents, hey, if this is what he wants to do, help him, invest, And
See, a lot of people don't know that. I mean, I didn't know it. Maybe a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But that's one thing that's good to come on a show like this. This Brown's Neighborhood, you're going to find out a whole lot of things when you come to the neighborhood. I got Eric to come to the neighborhood, and we're going to learn some more about Eric. Now, Bigum, wife bought him that guitar. Wow, nobody would know that. But now I'm looking at you, and even when I would see you coming back, we're going to talk about that because time went on. You went off to college. How did you get a college degree in music?
No, my degree actually wasn't in music. It was in business administration.
Oh.
So I was a business major. I completed school, went to the University of La Verre. It's a private school, stayed there all 4 years, completed that. But my degree was never in music, but I knew just for the music industry, I did a lot of research, and I'm still researching to this day. But you don't necessarily, along with a lot of industries, you don't necessarily have to have that degree as a credential. It definitely will help, and it's not to discourage people to not go ahead and do it. But there are a lot of people in positions today without degrees in any type of sector. So for music, I knew I could still apply. I wanted to be immersed in the business half as well. So there was a lot of musicians that I came across, and even watching movies to this day, how they were so immersed in the playing, but they got messed over on the business half. The business half is what I really always cared about, and be able to make sure that this isn't just a hobby, but this is something that I work for, and this is what I do as a living, just how as you work, and just as everybody else as an entrepreneur. But going ahead and get that business degree was the solidification for me to be able to go ahead, okay, I could put this piece. If I can run a business like that, I'm going to just apply it to the music. And that's what I'm doing to this day.
Okay, so let me say this. A lot of times people, have a little dream and they go up there and they in the choir stand, they playing the instrument. But when did you know you loved playing the instrument? When did that happen?
I know I loved it.
You could see
when I couldn't stop thinking about it.
You can't keep doing this for year after year after year if you don't fall in love with it. It's like a man. He don't keep no woman unless he in love with her.
Right.
If he don't love her, eventually he gonna let her go. Or she may let him go. But you didn't let this go. When did you fall in love with it?
If there was an age number to put it, I would say around.
It don't even have to be a number. Was you in middle school? Was you in high school? If it continued this far, the love had to fall somewhere.
It was early. It definitely was early. I would say between elementary and middle school, honestly, when I knew that I loved music. Parents, my dad was my head football coach. My mom was a GM, so we were really involved with off-season stuff when it came to the football team and stuff, But during that time, there wasn't a lot of practice going on, so I still had my saxophone, and there would be these meetings that the whole community or that the whole organization would come to Thursday night, 6 to 9 p.m., That's for the adults. I got to do my homework. I got to do whatever it is. And I knew I had my saxophone with me in the car, so I'll be in my dad's truck, just whatever. If I got a light in there, I'll pull my music book out, and I just practice for the sake of, because I need something to do right now, but this is something I really care about,
So how old were you when you got the sax?
When I got the sax? 11.
11 years old.
11 years old. There's a video still when the day I got it for Christmas. My younger brother's next to me, and I have it on. I'm playing the Pink Panther theme song, and he's sitting there just dancing. That's all I knew at the time, No,
man, look.
But there's a video. Yeah, that was the first day of when I got my own saxophone. But I started playing saxophone in 6th grade, and I was at middle school.
It's also real to me. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things is I'm proud of you because a lot of guys grow up Start off in the church, grow up. Some keep on going. You came back, still help out in the choir, in the music part. You was gone. What made you come back?
Truthful answer. All these have been truthful answers, but this is a really honest answer for this question. Is my bass teacher passed, Stan. And I have been working with him. I come back even if I wasn't necessarily at a service. I knew where he was at. I knew I can go talk to him, man, and spend some time with him. Yeah,
Right.
always as I've had, because he was the one who took me under his wing actually, to teach me how to play bass and show me everything. I learned a lot of things by watching this man, not necessarily him sitting there and instructing me to do it. We had some sessions like that too, but I learned on the job, sitting there watching him, trying to see if I can mimic this, mimic that. But he had passed. There was something pulling on my heart, man. The way he serviced at the Living Gospel, that was what that man did. I'm not going to necessarily say that's my legacy or but there was an example for me to see and to hear about how he was still laboring and still coming and being able to do as he did. So the reason I came back was just out of honor and respect to him. That's a pact that me and him have, but in the sense of, I know he'd be proud of everything I'm doing outside the church, but still would want me to still give back, as I do. If it's not the Living Gospel, or if it's anywhere outside the state, if I've helped many churches outside with the gift that I've been blessed with. I knew that coming back would it was more of a way for me to feel connected to him and to still pay respect and to still leave his legacy, or leave a legacy.
Hey, man, that's big. And it's a blessing to even give a man credit of your, growing up and you being able to learn from him and all of that. It's now, this is, you putting it out there for everybody to know. This is something that drew me back in. And it's so nice to see you when you're up there, man. It touches me too when I see you up there. This brother come on back and he's still playing. A lot of the cats grow up and they just, they disappear. They live in their life, and that's okay. But it's such a blessing when you see these young men come back and give back. See, you giving back. That's part of giving. You giving your talent back to the Lord, So I just want to say I'm proud of that.
Thank you. And I feel like that aspect still in giving back, I keep God with me at all times. And whether I'm playing in church or whether I'm playing a gig with my band or anything, it's still all in excellence in giving back to God. And that's how I see it in my retrospect of when I play, when I perform, all of it is still a thank you and showing that I'm worthy of this gift. So to be able to play. So it's in all aspects as well. I keep that.
You didn't do it by yourself. Who bought that saxophone for you?
That was my mother.
Your mother bought that
my mother, my father, and also with the help of the church.
One thing I want to say, I'm glad that you at least say your dad also contributed. There ain't no you without him.
No, not at all.
So I'm just putting it on the record.
Oh yeah, my dad and I we have a great relationship, man. My dad was my football coach growing up. And no matter whatever happened between my family, me and my father, we still have a great relationship.
Man,
he's always been there for me as well.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And that's beautiful. That's beautiful, and it's good to hear. But I want to hear something, because see, a lot of times when you're doing this type of business, what I'm doing now, music, it needs to be involved a little bit, the instrument, and a lot of times you can't use everybody's. There's a lot of laws out there. You can't just go play somebody's music, you know. So I want to hear a little something. I want to hear something smooth, though.
You want to hear something smooth?
Well, whatever it is.
Yeah, yes, sir. You got it.
But I want to see what did happen after all these years. It could be the sax. It can be that bass. I just want to hear something.
We can do both. We brought them both.
All right. Well, let me get your bass player. Let's hear a little something. This man been busy, And it's a privilege for me to have him to come on Brown's Neighborhood. I want all type of people to come on this show here. Young, old, middle-aged, because it's all about showing somebody the talent that's going on out here in the neighborhood. So we're going to listen to a little bit of what Eric has to play. y'all just got a taste of it. This man been busy. This man been busy with this music, you know what I'm saying? That's a couple of decades of putting things together. So we want to hear a little bit of that sax too. So somebody help him get that saxophone. Oh, you got it right there? Oh, man. His brother Eric here started playing the sax when he got him a sax when he was 11 years old. His mother bought that sax. So evidently she knew it was something in him too.
She's going to have to deal with all those noiseless hours before it became music for everybody else to enjoy.
Right.
A bunch of noise in the house.
Man,
Sure.
But what a blessing it is now. Yes, sir. Anybody do something for almost 20 years, they got to love it. You know what I'm saying? Tiger Woods been doing it a long time. You start somewhere. So he started right there at the Living Gospel Church, walking up on that choir stand up into that podium. Every Sunday, committed. So we're going to hear a little bit of this saxophone. Let's see what you got, E. Hey, young man. Hey, it takes a lot of work to learn instruments, to play instruments. It takes a lot of work. When you see people playing pianos, instruments, believe me, it ain't easy. A lot of people think you can just pick it up and it just works. Pick it up and try it, and you go see if it just work like that, you know? It don't work like that. So it takes a lot of time, energy, and you have to be very consistent at this. So tell me, who are some of the people besides Stan that you have learned from, been taught, whatever?
We can go for saxophone first. So I've had the pleasure and honor of studying with Justo Amario. Justo Amario is a Colombian saxophonist who's came out here to America he's arranged for and played for Roy Ayers. So I know you were listening to some Roy Ayers earlier. Everybody Loves the Sunshine. A bunch of different things from him, but he's also a professor at UCLA, so I was able to study with him from the years of 2020 up to about 2023, 2024. We still have a great relationship to this day. So that's what I've been able to study with, say, for saxophone. So for bass, I was actually picked up and saw and just mentored by, his name is John Haynes. John Haynes is the bass player for Rolls Royce to this day. So he also played saxophone and bass. He came out of Compton High School. He saw a show of mine about a few years back. From then, we were able to connect, and he's been a mentor to me to this day. You know, he's hooked me up and put me in different situations and put me in different doors. If it's not subbing for him, just doing different opportunities. So that's where it's been at for bass for me. Also, I've been able to study Afro-Cuban and Afro-Latin percussion. So, so I play the timbales as well. Timbales are say just another version of the quads for marching band, but just a little bit. It's used more in Afro-Cuban, Afrocentric music. But I've been able to study with the great Luis Conte. Luis Conte. He's also played with a bunch of known stars. I would say the ones I know off the top is Madonna, the Spanish group Maná. He's performed with them, and I've been able to study and learn different Afro-Cuban, Afrocentric, Afro-Latin rhythms and culture through the drum by studying with him. And then also if we go down to the congas are the other drum that kind of look like the djembe. I studied with the great Harold Lott and also Luis Conte as well. Luis is a beast on the timbales as well, but more like for the congas. And then Harold is just a breath of fresh air because what he did in his style of music, what I'm playing, all these guys are about 50, 60. These are guys, but they're still playing to this day, but these are the guys that are still hitting in the LA scene. So Harold, what he did, he would play these Afro-Cuban rhythms, playing the salsa bands, but he's putting the West African sauce on it. And the West African is the djembe. So I've been able to study djembe and playing dooms. There's a class out here in Long Beach. It's called Homeland Percussion. Homeland. They're not Homeland Percussion, but they teach over in Long Beach. They have a class every second and fourth Thursdays. One of the teachers, he's actually the percussionist in my band to this day. So I've been able to study djembe with him and also learn just the different West African rhythms there at that class on Saturdays. Yes, those are, I would say that would be the best. Or there's one more actually before I leave.
Sure.
The biggest mentor for making our dreams possible to this day and even making, being able to release projects and be able to live the dream that I'm able to do today and showing it step by step is Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is art instructor here in Los Angeles. He runs the Watts Willowbrook.
Is that right?
Yeah, Watts Willowbrook Symphony. So it's the youth symphony. But he's done a lot of work there. But he's also someone who is an independent artist and has done what we've done before. And he reached out to, you met my brother earlier, Keely. He reached out to us or reached back to us and be able to give us the opportunity to be able to put together a project, which we did over the years of 2020 to 2022. 2022 is when we released the project, but it was with his guidance. And we met Billy when we were about like 17, when we were in high school, before we knew what we wanted to do, because we came back about like 2021 with the project and wanted to be able to live our dreams through. But we met Billy at 17 and he remembered us from that, back then. So that was the reason why he wanted to give back and help us and show us the ropes. So now when we do work out here in Los Angeles or wherever we do work at, musically, we know what is the business, and so we don't get the runaround. And that was my whole school for music that I didn't go to school for, but I was able to study with these different, everybody that I've named, and go to gigs with them, be the roadie for them, and see what it is, how they do business and how they make a living being a musician out here in Los Angeles. And that was my school. So that was my school for music, but I was still going to school for business at the same time. So I'm seeing both ends at the same time, and I'm able to apply it.
Right. Man, even talk like that, you got to be involved in something, because you can't run it down like that and don't know what you're talking about. Anybody talking about music like that and different artists of that like that, man, you got to be in the game. So that's letting me know he's serious about what he's doing. He love what he's doing. And I also love what he's doing. Even when he said one thing, he said, in the Willowbrook Watts community, man, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to forget, places like that, because those places is where a lot of things started, and stuff like that. So when he mentioned that mean a lot. When you see the Willowbrook, Watts, a lot of people look down on that, but we're going to look up on it, because that's where a lot of roots and things come from. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for mentioning that. And I just want to say, man, I'm proud of you. One, thank you for even coming on Brown's Neighborhood. It mean a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, the church is right over in the neighborhood, too. A lot of good things coming up out of there. A lot of good gifts. And this is one of them. Brother Egg, I want him to put something together for me. So we going to talk about it, and I'm going to pay about it. You know what I'm saying? You can't get things for free out here. It's tough out here. So you got to be serious about what you're doing. Brother E, I want to say thank you for coming, man.
Thank you.
Man,
thank you for having me.
I'm proud of him. Boy, I'll be in the back, and I'll be seeing him at church, and I'll be saying, man, look what God has done. Boy, God don't never stop working. You know what I'm saying? I want to say this. This young man was 5 years old. Big and White bought him that guitar. going up through that podium, man, like he was leading the band up there. I said, boy, look at that. And then 20 years later, how old you, E?
24.
24. Man, so that, but 19, 20, a couple of decades, and he's still at it. So, you know, he have a love for what he's doing. And we're going to just say, as we end this, it's always about God in the neighborhood, all these good things coming out the neighborhood. And I just want to say, Eric, thank you for coming to Brown's neighborhood.